that was weird. I guess OBS had an issue. I just installed a new version of OBS, and it kind of like froze and crashed and like froze my machine for a brief second and then reconnected. Twitch recovered, but YouTube kicked it out. So, all right. What was I doing when that happened? Oh yeah, I was doing something with Git. Okay, let me take a look here real quick. There's a small chance the issue could be in the construct file here. Let me get rid of this file. So I had, in theory, it was the utils.cpp was the issue. So I've removed that. And then register types just has OCR. I wonder if I still would need the .h file included here. Probably not. I think it's just .h is so we can register. So if I build that, is Godot now happy? If it's not, then I gotta go to the nuclear option, which is annoying, but I guess I'm willing to do it. Okay. And Godot, you tell me, what's up? Are you happy? Please be happy now. I really don't want to nuke everything and start peeling things in piece by piece. Nope, doesn't like it. So disappointing. All right, well, I guess I have to do the annoying part then. So the annoying part is let's kill VS Code. And then git diff, well, git checkout as construct. Git add build. I want to keep that. Git diff source. What changed in source? All right, OCR.cpp. I changed some things. I got rid of the logging. OCR.h. Had the utils file. Okay, most of this was just commenting things out. Okay. Let me do copy -r source over to, we'll call it broken source. We'll do, yeah, git checkout source, git checkout bin, and then check another status. No files changed. Cool. Git Godot's not up. Good, because Godot can get weird about this next part. Git checkout. Well, any of this actually, Godot can get weird about. Git checkout main. Oh. Build script tweak. Let's push that up. And then we'll check out main. We'll do git pull origin main, and then I will do a copy -r source to source temp, and then we'll check out persistent background thread again, and now we will move source temp to be just source. Git status -s. Oh, darn it. Move source source temp to here. Okay. Move source temp to source. Did I mess that up? It did. Okay, remove -rf source. And then if I do that, it won't. I'm sure there's like a smarter way to do that. Cool. Okay. So now, like we don't have the book text scanner. We don't have camera enhancer.cpp. We've gotten rid of all those files. We should be back to a old working version. In fact, I'll build all. And then we'll launch Godot, and Godot should launch. And then I'll start by gutting ocr.cpp. Huh? What? Wait. There shouldn't be a utils. There's no utils. Why would there be? This is so weird. Okay, git checkout source star. Let's do this one more time. I don't understand. Let's do git stash. Fine. Git checkout main. ls source. Yeah, there's no utils file there. How did utils even get there? I'm losing my mind this morning. Okay. Copy source to source temp. Fine. -r. Now we should have source temp. Now we go back to this branch. Oh. Maybe that was it? I don't know. Remove -rf source. Let's just nuke source. Now it's going to complain because everything's missing. Let's copy source temp to source. Okay. So now we've deleted utilities. It's not there. Doesn't exist. Shouldn't exist. For the heck of it, remove from bin Windows libocr. Like nuke them both. And then also from bin Android libocr. And now if I build here, and let's go slow. I don't want to go slow, but we'll build Android first. Let's get us back to something working that runs correctly. Why? Why is it saying utils.os? There is no... S construct? Right. Okay, that's why it was being a pain. Okay. Now if I build it, the S construct file shouldn't be looking for those new files. Now it should be okay. It is. And then if we do Windows, whoa. Who's making a reference to camera enhancer? Huh? That's in the source directory, right? Oh, because camera enhancer is new. Right. Camera enhancer I actually had in there for a bit. Oh. Well, you know, camera enhancer was in fact working. So let's undo that. And let's do S construct file. And let's bring back our source camera enhancer. .cpp. It's just those two files. So I love how Android didn't care that that file was missing, but Windows does. So now we're bringing in camera enhancer. That seemed to be happy, but again, Android doesn't seem to care for reasons. Windows. Happy. Godot, are you happy? Okay, we're good here. For the moment, I'm going to comment out all this new implemented code, just because I don't want the errors to distract me. And if I, just to make sure that that's true, because I want to be very sensitive to errors. Let me just reload it again. Oh, because I commented that out. All right, just one more time. Or again, I want to just see a clean load. That way I know that everything's good. I hate how I have to do this tedious operation, but you know, it is what it is. Oh, right, the exit tree. Let's just reload it and see what happens. Hey, okay, so that's all good. Let's do it this way. Code dot launch VS Code for this. And what I'm going to do, so we've got our broken source. I'm going to go with ocr.cpp here. Okay, so these files, close those. Let me just close anything that is not immediately relevant. All right, I'm going to start with just ocr.cpp. And where's our log method? Okay, it was gd log. So, okay, where's our broken? Here we go. And we will change, oh, actually we don't need that. Let's close this, and then if our .h is here, where's our broken .h? And this will probably fail. I shouldn't have done this. I know it's all right. I'm already basically certain it's going to fail. Hey, who knows? There's a small chance it was like a weird file permissions kind of weirdness thing. Although this will be great if it actually works. I don't think it will. I think it's going to complain. Really? So what's going on, Godot? What's your problem? Okay, let's keep on, keeping on. So let's do this. Our good ones are on the right here. This is the broken one. We've copied it over. So if we bring in utils.cpp and utils.h, this will be really annoying if this just like works. What if I bring that in? So we'll bring in our utils.h, and in registered type, well, no, not registered types, as construct. You know, order could matter here. There's a chance order matters. So utils.cpp is brought in as a source here. In theory, then, that means... Oh, but I did have the different version of it. Okay, well, we'll test one thing at a time. At least here we know we're back to the old version with the pack byte array. And at least it's okay with that. Let's save and let's reload. And that didn't work. Awesome. So, can we get it back to good? Save that there. And the only thing I did was change that import, right? So can I get it back to good here? I'll be fine if it's like an issue with utils.h, the utils file. It says it's installed it. Please, please go back to good here. I'll be confused and annoyed if it doesn't. Good. No, this is good. Amazing. Okay. That's all good news. So, where is our... Let's close those two. So we're in source. Just want to make sure I'm getting the right ones. Utils.cpp. Where's our utils.h? Okay. Why is it... Fine. I don't know why I kept replacing it. Okay, what if we just did... Yeah. Okay. We got to start somewhere, right? So let's gut all this. And then these helper methods, timestamp, unordered map. Yeah, let's get rid of all the privates. We've got a bunch of methods for logging. Some macros for logging. Let's get rid of these macros and those ones. And then in utils.cpp, oh, well, hold on. Well, I shouldn't have gotten rid of those. Here, fine. So we got our debug enabled stuff. The private stuff can still all go, right? And then these things can go. What are you complaining about? Oh. Is that all that this came down to? Oh, no, no, no. This is that. That's fine. Okay, no, no, it's just the semicolon. Okay, so let's get rid of all these private ones. And then up to here. I just deleted the wrong thing, that's all. Okay, there we go. That's happy. Again, other than these, it's just saying removed lines, yeah. And then here, what was internal lock? Why is that even a thing? Fine, I guess I'll keep internal log, right? What about format message? All right. I guess let's just do this piece by piece, right? That I know we can get rid of. Okay, that's still happy. And then these helper methods, let's get rid of them. We'll just gut till it hurts. I don't want to deal with any of this right now. So, you know what? Let's kill these two. Set debug files enabled and reset debug session. Okay, and then what about these? Save debug image. Where is that? Okay. Get debug platform. What was that, really? I wonder if like that's something that's causing a problem. Or did I delete those? That could be it. Oh, these are all the helper methods? Okay, yeah, I should have deleted them sooner. Just delete these things as I use them. Okay, all these debug draws should go. Okay, that's happy. Fine, let's get rid of get convex hull and get debug root path. Internal log seems not needed. What about timestamp? Yep, that's needed. End timer. Okay, end and start timer. Let's nuke those. Okay, this is now hating something. Okay, fine. I feel like I lost something actually. Fine, let's get rid of that. I can just add things back as I need them. I think this isn't there anymore. Yeah, that's gone. Okay, let's get rid of this, like, this component level debugging. Let's get rid of that. Okay, and then these, like, CV mat to Godot and Godot. Let's get rid of that. Where are those? Because I want to keep the logging. The logging is nice. I like how that is. So yeah, okay. So that's the debug enabled. What is this component debug map? No, we're not doing that. Timers. Now, component debug map and tie inverse, those should be gone. Too much complexity. Internal log, format, message, get timestamp, all that's needed. Not used. Not used. Okay. Okay, this is not used, but this is simple enough, and I kind of need it. Okay, so now we just basically got the internal log, the formatting as its own separate thing, which is fine. Timestamp, generating timestamps for things. Who knows? There could be a problem there. And then we have all these different versions of logging. Okay. So then I mean, what if we just don't even use it? And I bring in source utils.cpp. Is it still going to hate it? And then the question is, like in theory, so registered types, I had always listed first. And it makes references to OCR and camera enhancer. So I don't think this order matters here. I don't think this needs to be the first in the list. But if this fails to load right now, I may test that theory just to confirm it. And if this doesn't work, I'm truly just going to gutter the whole file. And try again from scratch. Come on, please work. Okay, cool. That works. Well, that's just the file, right? So now, if we bring in utils, now does it work? All we're doing is importing the file now. Not a problem so far. Okay. So then what happens if I try to log something? Let's log down here in the initialization. Does logging work? Because that gives me something to work with, right? If our constructor, and if I see that in initial setup for OCR, if I see that log statement, then that means it truly is working. It's not just like smoke and mirrors, or Godot loaded fine, but it didn't actually load the library. It kind of just sort of, didn't. Yeah, why am I... Let's close the debug. That's seen. Let's just keep Godot in a happy place, and I'll keep pulling in more code while it's happy. And hell or high water, this is going to work today. Okay, well, what if I run it? Because it's not going to initialize, right, until I actually run it. Oh, because I'm not doing... That doesn't get called right away, right? This is the OCR manager. Attempt to connect a non-existent signal text scanned to call node. Okay, so that failed. Okay, so this is the new signal that I created. All right, I actually have to step away. I will be back in a few minutes, probably. All right. All right, sorry about that. Always annoying to have to use the bathroom. Okay. So let me just resolve errors as they come, maybe. Let's try that. So we have a signal here. Text scan. And where... See, I don't know about that. Fine, let's just disable it. So that way it's not a problem. But this should still work, right? Because we should have had on ready ocr.no. Where was this? Creating folder. Debug HUD probably. Run tests, right. Let's turn off run tests for the moment. Right. All right, so here I should be able to do, if I do a search and replace of / log with just log. Let's do all. There, so now we've got our log statements back. And I'm gonna run a build on that just to, I wanna see it work. So in theory then that means this is just fine. Both camera enhancer and the utilities. Oh, but maybe we didn't log because logging wasn't turned on. That's probably the case. So yeah, so if we call our log shortcut, that's going to call log, just regular log. And all those, they just do conversions and they end up calling log, different log, this log. Do they even have like a force? Why even have the force function? I'm not gonna use that. Force log? No, sorry. Fine, I'll leave it for now. Not is debug enabled. If not force log and not debug enabled. Okay. Well, debug enabled is, we gotta set debug enabled. And that's public, right? Okay, so I should be able to go here. Set that to true. Now, unfortunately, yeah, that built, right? So unfortunately, that means that log statement's probably going to happen after the fact. Who are you? Get out of here. Okay. All right, so far so good. And if I just run it, this time it won't run tests, it'll just run. Non-existent functions set debug enabled on base OCR. set debug enabled. How is that not? It's a public method. Oh, it's on utils. Right. Okay, fine. Let's do utils equals utils.new. Utils. Not declared in the current scope. Is there a difference here? It's a public object. Okay, so maybe what I need to do is All right, fine. Maybe I will model it after. Declaration of a member with the same name as its class. Oh, well, it's fine. And then if I do this up here, what do we have to do? Hold on 1 second. All right. I probably need to bind methods here. Yeah, protected bind methods on the .h. So I have public protected, well, protected above public. I'll just mirror that. Okay. And then you have that there. Utils.cpp can have it. Put it right at the top, right? Probably here. And then what I want to bind to that is set debug enabled. And that's a Boolean enabled. And new, like that. And this is utils. Now I should be able to set it globally. Whoa. Utils.cpp, bind method, d method. Godot class method. create method. So what was this one? This is extract text. It's just void OCR, right? Does it have to be a class method, maybe? Yeah, it's a void utils set debug enabled. This is also a void. Is there a... So that's public object. Public object. Did I not import something? What does this come from? Probably this object here. Yeah. Why did that? Oh, didn't know you could do that. Okay. Now it should build. Because it's this object here. Which is probably getting the wrong object. It was probably getting standard object instead from the standard library. Okay, what if instead we kept it like that, and instead, who do I want this to be on then? All right, I'm going to hard code this to true for the moment. And then what I'll probably do is here, where we do our initialization over here with the scanner, I'll probably just be like to do this on the scanner instead. So the scanner should be the one being told whether or not we're doing debug. That's going to be our source of truth. And it's going to be the one to tell utilities, you know, change that global debug enabled setting from the scanner. So I'll just move that over to that class when the time comes. So utility then isn't something you should ever be accessing directly. It's a private class just for the purposes of the other classes to use. How are we doing here? Build finished. And let's reload. Oh, it was running? If it was running, how did we... Okay, somehow we were able to write the file, even though it was even though it was running. It usually doesn't let us do that. Okay, and now I should be able to just run it. Maybe I'll get a log now. No. I'd like positive affirmation that it's working. So maybe I'll do... Maybe OCR Manager's not getting instantiated. I can't remember. I don't want to dig into it too much. And that is, where's OCR? Oh, just, I don't care. Let's do var temp OCR is OCR. Okay, and now I should be able to run it. And now I should get that log statement. Interesting. Where's our utils? Logging, so what does it do? If not force... Why is... If not both? Shouldn't this be or? Okay. Yeah, that's what I get for trusting an AI to code this properly. So then that would be internal log. Here, let's just do our utility print function as well. Just because I really want to make sure this is loading properly. Let's do that. So I should get this message, and now that I fixed that bug, hopefully this one comes through as well. I just want to confirm I can get those log statements, because if I can get those log statements, then I can then rapidly apply things and see what happens. It's so annoying how slow and tedious this can be sometimes. And I shouldn't have to reload Godot, but I'll do it again anyway. Cool. So. Let's see what this does. Please work. How's the output? Duplicate UIDs is annoying, but whatever. Okay, we instantiated it twice, but we're still not getting log statements. That actually means I shouldn't need this one. And then, again, what are you? You are log component message. We go to utils log component message. Force defaults to false for all of them. And oh, by the way, what do we have here? Okay, so it's a character array. So which one is the character array? Here's the character array. Oh, but is that ever going to be a Godot string? I wonder if this is always going to be... Like, are we ever going to have... Like, that's saying that that's a character array. So maybe the issue is that these should always be character arrays. Which means that this should be a string. That means this should be a string. And then our character arrays, oops, do that. And then our character arrays need to be added to the .h file. Yeah. So that means these two variants, one that's either a standard string or a character array, and also character array here, because that's always going to be hard-coded anyway, all get cast to Godot strings for the purposes of logging. Everything should be back to happy. And maybe now it'll log, but so anyway, that message comes in. It should be coming in here, which would then go to here. If we either, oh, that's why this is an ampersand. Because if force log is false and is debug false, then we return. Only if, as long as one of these is true, then we continue. But there was the other if statement here, so that was still a bug. That was basically saying only ever log if we're ever forcing. So that might have been the real issue. Let's build again, now that I fixed that. So then we format the message, and then we call internal log. Now I want to see this succeed. It's going to be hard to debug anything else if I can't just like actually log and see things. So, kind of important. Let's reload the project. And then let's save that and let's run our test. And there we go. We have a debug log for OCR to init, which has confirmed that this isn't needed because we were always initializing the OCR manager anyway. Nice. Okay. So that's not needed. I'm not crazy, right? OCR init initial setup. Yeah. And this is basically the whole new version. So now I should be able to get this version with the packed byte array. And then if we go the .h file, be happy. Here we go. This is the new version that matters. And I think if I bring up broken, oh yeah, here we are. Yeah, minus like the minor changes. This is the version we want to go with. Because we have our broken.h other than the one line. One more reload just for the heck of it. And let's run it. All right, so it's happy. Let me check these debugs again. Yeah, nothing that I'm better about. Okay, so 10 is fine. Cool, so this is the new version, right? Which means that's gone. And if I compare that, it's just commented outlines. Right? Fine. So OCR should be solid. Now we can kind of focus on... Okay, so this should be done. This should be working. Let's close OCR. And then our utils... Let me think here. Well, let's bring in the book scanner. Utils did get pushed to the end here. So let's bring in book scanner in front of OCR. And what I will do yeah. Oh. Huh? What? No. Yeah, book scanner. Why are you complaining? Oh, reset the debug session. Yeah, sure. Why does it keep doing that? That's really, really annoying. No, seriously. I want both. You go up there. Okay. Yeesh. Okay, so this, let's comment this out for now. I know I need that. And then our other error is camera enhancer. Has no member crop image from box. Okay, so that's fine. Let me drag this out a little bit. And where's our old one? Or the broken one? Did it do the thing again? It did do the thing again. Camera enhancer.cpp. So I want to add this to most of the way down. Fine. And then where does that go to? Here's that method. Enhance text image. Okay, we want that here. And then in our .h, yeah, so it's the biggest complaint is that it's not there. Oh, and then, yeah, so then our .h, we just need to bring in probably logging. And then where's the old? Of course, it's doing the thing again. So we are complaining about again from enhanced. Yeah, it's gonna, of course, it's gonna go in the same spot. Cool, and then we get the utility, which I think for OCR. No, OCR.h. Okay, we did just have it at the top. Cool, so that's now there, it's now available. Oh, actually, did you even need that? Not even sure you were using it. You, however... Wait, no, you were using it, right? Yes. So you need this here so that you can log here so that we have crop image from bbox available here. And now we build. And again, I think we go down the same route of adding log statements to the constructors. This one doesn't have a constructor, but I can add one. And just let's make sure everything's getting initialized as is vanilla. And then we'll go from there. Again, I don't think I need to do this, but I'll do it anyway, just because I'm super scared of this just not working. Now that we've brought in a whole new file also. Right, so now if I run it, yeah, that's fine. So what I should see though is book text scanner now a thing? And actually book text scanner got brought in, but what didn't get brought in, ooh, forgot to do this. Register types, where is register types? And this is going to be book text scanner, and we will do, let's just make sure we got it. Copy paste it as is. And then the only other thing I'll do is delete that. See, now I don't know if, yeah, so we'll see. So if it doesn't like this, then there might be an issue with book text scanner. We know there's not an issue with OCR. We know there's not an issue with utils. Most of the utilities in utils.cpp were actually for camera enhancer. But if this works, I am actually going to push this code as is and then continue to bring over the broken pieces. And then that way I'll be able to very easily see, like, we'll be talking about like less than a third of the code could be the problem. And we know it won't be structural. So I should be able to see exactly what's missing. Really annoying that Godot doesn't give better errors as to why it doesn't like things. Okay, so that's that. What I should be able to do though is I should be able to do this. And then on ready, I should be able to do that. And book text scanner doesn't have a constructor, right? Kind of like OCR. Where's OCR? Yeah, it has a constructor. And its constructor is like just down at the bottom, right? Right. So where is your destructor? Probably should be at the top of the file instead. I think that's smarter. Right. So there's your destructor. Let's make our constructor. And we will do log constructing book scanner. And that matches the pattern, right? Yeah, it's just class.class and then whatever you want to put there. So this should now work. I will notice this file is missing. There are two things that I had to do before, which I don't fully understand them. One is this pragma once, which this class uses. And the other does the if and def define, if not defined, define it. So if this fails right here, it might be because of that. Like the second I try to call the scanner, then maybe it breaks. I don't know. Again, I'm going to reload just out of insanity. I'm going to be annoyed if I end up pulling all the code over effectively and it works and just be like, I don't know why it didn't work before. So far, I think there was one or two teeny tiny things that I changed. But we should see the scanner initialize. Yeah, there's our constructor for OCR and our constructor for book text scanner. And while we're at it, we might as well do camera enhancer. So let's go crazy, right? var enhancer and yeah, let's do that. If I run that now, I should get all three. Camera enhancer doesn't have anything in its constructor, perhaps? It has a constructor, right? Yeah. Where is its constructor? It's got a bunch of arguments to it. I mean, it's possible it was the logging, right? Inside construction. So again, if this works, I'm committing it all right now. Because, like, how far off are we anyway? Like, get status-s, get diff source. I mean, I've disabled a couple things. I added a log statement. I've included a missing .h. Mind you, like, the old version is the one that didn't work. Camera enhancer does have a bunch of stuff. That's different. Camera enhancer is different. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff here that got removed. It's really the enhancer. Who knows? Maybe the issue's there. There's so many little things, right? And, you know, I could keep it for now. I mean, let's be real. It was nice to pull some of these things onto utilities, because it's nice to have the file smaller and to not have to think about it too much, but... Oh, access denied to register types. Why is access denied to register types? But strictly speaking, this didn't need to be in utilities. It could just be here locally. And then our camera enhancer.h. Again, a bunch of stuff got removed from it. Is it locked because I'm diffing it right now? That'd be fun. Where is that, by the way? Where's the init succeeded? Yeah. That shouldn't have been commented out like that. Oops. Where am I? Okay. And then OCR.h, we brought in image because image was missing. Oh, right. But that was that's the new version, right? So that was missing, to be fair. And then Register types, the include order changed slightly. Yeah. And then utils is kind of a bloodbath as well. Okay. Now that I'm not touching it anymore, can I build? Will it actually build now? Not diffing. Somehow the file's been locked. Android was fine. So I don't need to build Android right now. I could just stick to Windows. Although I'm making big enough changes, I don't know. It's kind of nice to build both. I could change the order. Do Windows first. Okay, yeah, so the act of doing a git diff must have somehow locked the file. So weird. I don't necessarily want to do a commit just yet. Yeah, because I also don't know what did I lose. Well, you know, why not? I could do it. Yeah, so we're inside the camera enhancer constructor. Twice, actually. So also because of here, we didn't need this, since we were already calling it. So OCR initializes, then we were doing the camera enhancer. We did end up doing it twice, and then the second one is going to be this one here, and then the book text scanner. So if I do camera enhancer, and I do gd log, so if I nuke that, and then find it here, let's get rid of it, and then I do let me do gd log, and let's replace that with just log. Okay, you're not pulling in utils, right? No, you're bringing in utils. Oh, sorry, yeah. This is going to be log. And we're going to replace it with log with paren. And we're going to replace it with log paren quote comma space. Now we should be good. We got one other error here, right? Oh, right. Wrong log statement. Happy? Why are you not happy? Where's your error? Oh. Yeah. Now you're happy. Okay. And now, by the way, if I do a diff, that would clean up a lot of the diff, I think. Coffee's done. Now onto water. I'm going to stick to my promise. I'm going to commit the code and then swap it And then that way we have a smaller diff, but then I should be able to see. No, because I know there's a bunch of little changes. Well, you know, maybe I should do it. Yeah, let's do it that way. It'll be a good experiment. If nothing else, I can just revert it, right? I can check out those files. Yeah, everything loaded just fine. So if I do a git status-s and then we do a git diff. So the s-construct file is happy. Here, let me shut down Godot. Just out of abundance of caution. And then I don't need to care about those files. Fine, I've commented out some basic things like that. I'll leave that commented out. Main.gd, sure, whatever. So in source, this is what I care about. I added a constructor, commented out the reset thing. Utils.h was missing. What file is this? Yeah, enhancer.cpp still has a bunch of stuff that got added. So again, I moved a bunch of things, which in theory are things that don't matter. And then a bunch of references moved. So, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do git add source. And then actually loads, but is mostly main code for source.dir. Let's back that up. And then let's copy broken source star, and we'll move it into source. We're not going to do -r because who cares? Right, and now if I do a git diff on source, cool. So now we've rebroken some things. But what I can do is I can go re-implement those fixes. So yeah, our book scanner.cpp. No, this is camera enhancer. So let's start with book scanner. And you have your constructor and destructor. And let me just bring that over. Again, I'm going to do this slow just out of... My hope is it's going to be one of these steps. And then in the .h, that it's going to be one of these tiny little steps that somehow just magically brings it all together. This is fine to bring that back. Oh, and that was it. That's all we had there. The .h, that's all we had there. What are you complaining about? Oh. Yeah, we already knew that this was... Okay, let's quit out of that. Let me fix OCR real quick. We know utils gets brought in. And then where's our function definition here? Git diff source ocr.cpp. Yeah, what happened to you? Control C does not work in this window. All right. There we go. And then you can go away. And then the pack byte array. And then we return the result. We can do / log and change that to just log. Do that on all of them. And then the last one is, this one was wrong. Why are you different? How is that line different? Godot string OCR extract text const ref That's weird. Huh. Well, it's happy. Let's close that. And now this is happy. Get diff source. Again, we brought that back because that should be there now. Okay, camera enhancer. Is there anything from camera enhancer? So we have typed array. I'm going to bring these two back. Again with the Control C, not working. And then let me bring that back too. Just on the off chance that somehow those matter. Unable to write to file. If I quit there and now I do. Interesting. Doing a git diff locks things. So weird. Okay, so we have a couple of new imports. Debug files enabled is still a thing, even though utils should have taken possession of it. But it's called global. Well, no, it's still a method, right? No, yeah, okay. It's global, whatever. Whereas here it's... All right, but we're still on the constructor. So let's add this back in. Again, with Control C. I'll keep this here. Again, can't save file. Well, I don't necessarily need it. Well, yeah. Fine. So we have these set. Interesting. I think this needs to go away. This wouldn't be done here anyway. And then you would be a colon. And you're happy. By the way, yeah, it's not even referenced in the file. So that might have been a mistake too. We got some end of line characters, some, you know, I'll clean those up at some point. We got rid of these default values because apparently that was a bad thing. Although who knows? I could see those mattering. All right, now we got methods that got removed, references to those methods changing. There's all the references, and that's it. So we got a bunch of references to methods that moved. Bunch of stuff that got ripped out of camera enhancer. But that was a git diff. Really? That was the diff on source? Why isn't utilities showing those methods being added? Oh, here they are. Is that right? What file is that? All right, I guess it wasn't a full diff, right? Right, it wasn't a full diff. All right, well, anyway, that was a quick sweep. Let's save this file. Let's run a build. See if the build's happy, and then see if the import's unhappy. If the import's unhappy, then I'll go through it with a fine-tooth comb. At least now this way, I'll be able to see more clearly what's actually different. And does it? Yeah, it finished. So now we just launch Godot straight up. So now, if nothing else, I should be able to find the differences quite easily. Hopefully. And if this works, then I can actually implement this new loop in GDScript, and then maybe actually everything just works. Although I feel like I've lost the plot a little bit. Did not. Okay, cool. Well, that's something. So let's do a clear, and let's do a diff on this. On the source directory, and let's go a little slower. So we've added some imports. We got rid of these declarations at the top. Got rid of the signal, got rid of those things. And then because of that, those are all now references over to another file. That's funny that that says book text scanner. And then this changed, align image changed. Oh, because I went back to the, I think align image, I went back to like the better version of it. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it's like a tab character somewhere. Okay, so that's comments, push back. Deleted some of that there. Again, just move references. And then we reference things here now. The .h also. Well, camera enhancer.h. Why did we get rid of ref counted? What kind of ref counted is this? Oh. We moved it. And then image got moved. Okay, fine. Deleted some things. Oh yeah, debug file enabled. That's not there anymore, right? Oh. But that is utils, right? Is debug files enabled? Hold on. Debug. Save debug image. I think we may have found a big issue. Let's fix this, shall we? That might not have made it with the move. So that's debug file enabled, save debug image. Cool, so those are all the references there, but why do we have any of these references here? They shouldn't be here. And then what about this set buffer size? Well, that's still there. Okay. Let's kill that and let's give that a whirl. Maybe I'll go file by file, right? Yeah, we were done with that file anyway. So we were on to OCR, and I already know OCR is good. That might have been the issue. Stupid. Like, yeah, that's what happens when you... Again, I vibe coded this. And, I mean, what is vibe coding? Had an AI create a bunch of methods for me. I moved a bunch of things around. I think I moved very fast with it. But I would expect things like, I don't know, a duplicate function definition or a missing definition. I would expect that to be, I don't know, a build error. Like, why doesn't that... do scons need to be verbose? Like, what is the... No, still didn't like it. So that's not the issue. But let's go back to that. Again, let me just do it file by file. Git diff source okay, so that's not a problem. The .h didn't change, so we're going to do camera enhancer .cpp. We've added a bunch of imports. Yeah, so it's these debug references, which, again, save debug image is debug save, debug draw, that's it. So getting rid of those shouldn't have mattered. There's no references to debugging here. And these were all just calls, right? While we're at it, let's just do this. Oh, that's going to take a while, isn't it? Well, we have constructor, destructor. Is that true? Constructor, destructor, bind methods. Both of those. And then convert to grayscale. Apply class. Denoise. Sharpen. Unsharp, mask sharpen, morphology cleanup, binarize, crop center, crop image, to enhance texts. So far, all these that are, that's all correct. Then compute text similarity. Yeah. Align image. Where's align image? Private. What about enhanced text from frames? Enhanced text from frames is there. Okay, but the last one I looked at was align image, which was private. I mean, a lot of these probably need to be private, to be fair. Okay, but that was fine. So that's those. All right, that's fine. I kind of got lost there. I do wonder if these binds are, ooh. Yeah, but it should complain, right? If this isn't there, it should yell about it, right? Because if I do process frames, yeah, it's going to complain that it doesn't have it. So all of these are guaranteed to be there. By the way, yeah, so we just added some imports, so we didn't remove any imports. And then we removed a bunch of stuff. And then we changed some references. And the one thing, okay, so what is it? Align. So here's what I'm going to do. I do want to keep this version of it. Git checkout source .cpp and the .h. Let's do that. And then here's a line image. Git diff source and it's just a line image, so it's just the different version of that, which ended up actually being, you know, a fair amount, actually, to be fair. And the .h yeah, it's just that method that changed for the moment. And we'll do the .h. Nothing changed. Okay. So I wonder now if this will build successfully and deploy successfully. Because honestly, I don't care. If this ends up staying in this file, like, I can pull it out to utilities later. I don't need all this stuff moved out to utils. It can stay local for now. At some point I'd like to clean it up, sure, but I don't need it cleaned up right now. So if I can take those two files out of the equation, again, I know everything else worked. No, still fails. So the next step would be if we do a git diff on source utils.cpp. Yeah, all this stuff got added. So let's check that out. And now let's build that. Who knows? Maybe something got broken in the translation there. And again, we might have some dumb issue with okay, so we at least know one thing that got lost. And I can bring that back over. Yeah, so this is that reset debug. That's fine. It's one method. Let's bring that one over. And that was book scanner. Yep, so that's the one issue. So we have our utils here. And let's go to our backup one, the broken ones. Cool. Let's copy that. So there's all of our logging stuff. We'll keep all the logging stuff at the top. So we'll add reset. Right, but that's because it came over from another file. So we add this as a public method. So now you should be happy. Well, you'll be happy. Cool. You will not be happy because you're going to be missing the current folder. Oops, right. This is something that just gets declared at the top of the file for the CPP. Yeah, watch, I'm gonna end up pulling everything in piece by piece. This will be funny. What are those? Those two globals? Fine. We'll bring that in. And where is it used? Right, the reset debug session. Save debug image uses it. That's fine. And then .h has it as a private underneath those. And right here it's, all right, so create timestamp folder. That's the next one. Let's bring that in. Which is going to be in the .h as a helper method. That is a private helper method. So create timestamp folders there. Debug session initialized is also another variable that's there. Nope. Not what I wanted. And this is at the top of the .cpp. Take it piece by piece, right? Cool. So now this whole method's happy, but now we've got a new one that's not happy. The debug root. So that also finds its way in the .h, right, as a private. And then in the .cpp, it ends up at the top. So now we end up with those two. So that's defined now. Create directory if doesn't exist is not there. Here's our create directory if it doesn't exist. Which is in the .h as another helper method. Everything's happy up to this point. Okay. So you are there as a Boolean that takes a string, a Godot string path. But do you take a Godot string path? Because full path. Okay, you do. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. If I do a git diff on source now, we have a line image class. That's really the only thing that changed in that file. For whatever reason, ocr.cpp has a weird change. I wonder if that's like there's some like weird character issue there. Ooh, don't tell me that that is what we ended up with. I am going to be furious if that's what the bug is. Because those do look different. And you know how they look different? Those are different. If this becomes a copy-paste error because of code provided to me from like Claude, and I copy-pasted the code and it was the wrong like colon. And then utils.cpp brought in a bunch of things. Let's see if this builds now. That's my culprit that I'm going after. I get the feeling this will fail. Like this is probably gonna be it. So frustrating. This is the other reason why, like, it was cute for me to like just ask an AI to generate the whole thing for me, which it did, which was amazing. But this is why like you need to do these things like file by file. Okay, so we installed the file. And I've really scaled down where the issue could be, I feel like. Yeah, didn't like it. So git diff source OCR.cpp. Let's do that. This version worked. I'm going to be livid if this is what the problem was. The issue can't be with OCR because we know everything there is working, right? Weird. So what if I did git checkout source OCR .cpp, and then we did a git diff on that, and there's no difference now. So now if I load it, it should complain because we didn't return anything. It needs to return our result text, which is a Godot string. And that's the difference there. Very weird. That copying and pasting didn't work. It could be maybe it's not copy pasting issue from Claude, but copy pasting issue from the terminal here. Again, why are they different? I don't know. Come on, work. Hold on 1 second. Let me check something here real quick. Okay, cool. I don't have a meeting for a bit. No, still not happy. Well, so this is interesting. Running it maybe helps. Because it's saying camera enhancer. That maybe gives me a clue. All right, but that's fine. So the only difference here is the align image code, which I reverted back to an older version. Maybe when I did that revert, things got broken. I mean, it's fine. The newer version's faster, but I was concerned the newer version lacked quality. That's the only difference in there, though, other than maybe some white space issues. Should be. But, all things considered, something in source is different. So let's do a clear git diff on source. So the reset debug session was new. Camera enhancer is just the alignment thing. I mean, I can... There's no reason why I couldn't. Let's eliminate that. Let's do copy... what is it? Source temp. Into source. Clear. Get diff on source. Let's eliminate the impossible, and whatever remains, however improbable, must be true. Oh, why did I do that? Git checkout source. Let's just do that. Why would I even bother? Just check them out. Because I know the version that's committed works. So... So now there's the reset debug, the fact that we're returning a result. Register types is slightly different order, but that shouldn't matter. That thing was working. Utils has brought in a bunch of new utilities. It's possible one of those is it. And that's it. So if I build now, so with utils, we brought in like the resetting of the debug session type thing. If I just rip all that out and just don't even bother with it, does that maybe... No, still doesn't like it. All right. Let me look one more time. So this was commented out. Maybe I'll switch that back to commented out. This change I'll undo, but maybe I will reapply that by hand. Wait, what? Registered. Why were these? Oh, these were commented out. But it was saying it couldn't even load the thing. I mean, this wouldn't explain why I can't load it. The fact that I'm not registering the classes, it would just say like that class doesn't exist. We wouldn't get a load error. Utilities adds a bunch of utilities. You know, I'm done with this. Git checkout source. So we've reverted it. It is often frustrating to not know why something isn't working. So I'll just make those changes by hand, one by one. So now we're back to a vanilla source. I've got two versions of it. Let me do move of temp source. Huh? That was source temp to source main. Get status-s. And then let's do move of broken source to source. Let's call it refactor. So now I have these two sources in addition to the source that I've got. Please tell me this works. Otherwise, I thought this was working here. So if this doesn't load, I'm going to be quite annoyed. Yes. Okay. So, what in here could have caused the break? First, while we're in here, yeah, let's close some things. This is fine. So we're able to bring in the C++ files. And we have them all. Right? We have them all, right? I'm like, my paranoia is getting the better of me. Right, we've got book text scanner. We've got this old one, but I'm gonna nuke that at some point. Camera enhancer, OCR, and utility. Cool. So sconstruct, you're good. You're happy. This importing, the classes import all fine, and all we care about is book text scanner, OCR, and camera enhancer. I'm not looking to import utilities because I'm going to set those. It's really, you know, I might not even need OCR or camera enhancer, to be fair. Those could probably eventually be private. I think it's just book text scanner service that is going to get called, but fine. Those import just fine for now. They initialize just fine. I'll leave them as they are. So register types is happy. You need to return a result. It'd be hilarious if that's the issue. Yeah, so here we are. Book text scanner. This reset debug session. I mean, this was all for that was all for debugging. I'm fine with not caring about debugging for the moment. I mean, I could do I'll do a hard-coded, like, loop once kind of thing. And then, yeah, it was just some of these utility functions. So, you know, it's possible one of these utility functions is a problem. I could add them in one by one until something breaks. Maybe I'll do that because I really want this to kind of work. All I changed was that return method. Okay, you know what? Let's do this. Git add sconstruct. Git add bin. git add start.gd, git add, wait, git add source. So everything imports fine. Main thing missing is debug logic and abstractions into utils. I think that's what's been lost. So I think I'm going to stop here and grab lunch. And then what I think I might do is start trying to get this debug session to work. And that would be, where's the .h? Maybe I'll just like stub it out, you know? Where's utils.h? So that would be a public method. And then in the utils.cpp, that's just a string, right? Ugh. Control C, always my nemesis. And then that should be in the .h, right? Those globals. Static string. And all I'm doing with it is logging it. And then you get to call it. Right? This is all we're doing. But yes, I'm going to stop here. And then I'll probably spend much of the afternoon, again, continuing to slowly debug this. Okay. Hopefully I'll have some success off camera, and then come Wednesday, I'll just have things magically working. But in theory, if I can move quickly now and get the rest of this code moved over little by little, this afternoon I can actually implement... well, wrong place. This afternoon, I would actually implement this new scanner service and like kick it off, have it start in the background, have it run. In fact, I may even just start doing that without finishing the refactor, and just like let me make sure that it runs and I get log statements from it to see that like, hey, it runs, it sleeps, posts again, and I can just see that that background process kicks off at start. By the way, I haven't done this in a while. Please don't break. Yeah. So all the initialization happened, including the book text scanner. So yeah, all right. Well, that's where I'll leave things. Kind of a frustrating morning, but I'll check you on Wednesday morning.